I try to say anti-speciesism or animal liberation, just because anti-speciesism is a movement that understands that human oppression and animal oppression are interlinked, through colonialism and capitalism and all the rest. And so it really seeks to fight the root causes of this oppression, and kind of expand the idea of liberation to be one of total liberation. Whereas veganism in the mainstream, I mean, I argue for veganism as a political stance against the commodity status of animals. And as, someone who adopts that stance, you'll incorporate that into your life as much as is possible and practicable. But in the mainstream, veganism is often just associated with consumerism, or, just changing what you buy. And it's considered bourgeois because under this capitalist system, not everyone can necessarily consume perfectly all the time. So I do kind of, make that distinction. The consumption piece is still important, right? The UN has said many times that eating a plant-based diet is the single best thing that an individual can do to cut their carbon footprint in half. So if you have the means, that is important. But as we know, with the broader political analysis, we can't consume our way out of capitalist crisis. And if we're still operating within a capitalist system, but we're all consuming plant-based, that's still not going to be environmentally sustainable. So yeah, in my work, I actually just did a video, shameless plug, called Speciesism, Capitalism, and Pandemics, where I talk about a lot of these intersections and how they've played out through the COVID pandemic and what's been happening to slaughterhouse workers, what's been happening to animals. Hundreds of thousands of animals had to be killed that weren't going to end up as food for anybody, and their bodies were just put through wood chippers and spread out on these big compost heaps. Meanwhile, millions of Americans are lining up at food banks because they've lost their job due to COVID, or there's shortages at the stores. So the system is just completely brutal, it's ineffective, and it harms both humans and animals. So yeah, if you're interested in more of those links, you can check out that video, because I do go into slaughterhouse workers and racial capitalism and how this is all linked. It's also linked with patriarchy and other things. So yeah, I just as much as possible, I try to incorporate all these things in my analysis and encourage people to incorporate these things in their fights on the ground through direct action.